Welcome back, this is Team Lindell here. We've been talking here recently about some of the early Civil War battles, and I thought to myself, what better way to talk about the Civil War than not to play BDT6, which is what we've been playing, but to actually play a Civil War game. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Civil War, and we're going to do it while playing Ultimate General Civil War. This, from what I understand, is one of the better Civil War games out there. And if we can make it through this game, we'll move on to another one that I saw that was my second pick. But we're going to go ahead and start another campaign to get us going here. And let's see. Beginning. You have always dreamed of becoming a military officer like your father. You feel it is your destiny to serve your nation, earning glory with honor on the battlefield. Okay, that makes sense. Now, West Point graduation. We have graduated from West Point. We need something that we have to be able to do. Okay. We can be a tactician, a strategist, or a logician. Now, when we start looking at this, we have Army organization, reconnaissance, Army organization training, Army organization logistics. When I played this game a little bit now just to get a feel of it before we got into this, and Army organization and logistics are probably the best two to go with. So I'm going to go with logistician. And now we get to our next one, reconnaissance, logistics, training, or reconnaissance, or logistics and medicine. Now, medicine is our ability to heal after battles. Not super important because it's mainly officers. Training is important with reconnaissance or reconnaissance and logistics. Reconnaissance is nice, but it's not necessary to do well in the game, so we're going to go ahead and pick the training one. And now we get to the last one, business, army, or politics. And now we see economy +3, logistics +1. Economy is things cost. The higher the economy, the cheaper things are. It's important, but there's plenty of money in the game, especially since we're going to probably play the easy level. Logistics is like about how much our munitions and stuff we're going to carry when we go into battle. We got training and army organization again, and then politics and economy. Now, politics is probably the most important element on this because this tells us when we win and lose battles, we can recruit new people to replace those we lost in the battle. And with politics, the higher the politics is, the greater number of soldiers you can recruit. And you're going to need that as these battles go on and on in the game. So we're going to go ahead and say politics. Now, Confederate or Union. I imagine the Confederate side will be harder since they lost the war. So we're going to go ahead and choose the Union side, mainly because I'm thinking it'll be the easier time since they actually won the war. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes out, at least in the first game. And now we come here. I'm thinking we're going to play the Colonel level, which is the easy level where we get more gold and recruits. And the enemy strength is not as great. And our reputation drop when we lose is not as great as well. Because we really want to try to see if we can get through this game and actually win it rather than get stymied. Now, here where we come in to take the lead, we see our politics is 3, the economy is 1, medicine 0, training 3, organization 1, logistics 1, and reconnaissance 1. It's a pretty good start. We're going to call ourselves, you guessed it, Team Lindell. And use advisor. We're not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and begin our campaign, so to speak. Here we go. Apparently we got a battle to start us off here. General, our main objective is to secure this small town and its railroad station. Okay, so the Confederates hold this spot. We need it. Okay, I'm with you. Okay. According to our scouts, the garrison should not exceed 3,000 soldiers. Well, that's good to know. You must capture the town before rebel reinforcements arrive via the railroad. So the rebels are going to be coming in this way. Okay. And we're going to be coming this way. It's advised to use your vanguard to clear the town's perimeter from skirmishers or other threats. The rest of your forces are en route and will arrive from the southwest. Assault the town when all your forces are present. Okay. So we got forces coming in. We don't have many troops here. We've got, what, about 1,000 men. And we're going to go ahead and see if we can clear out the town so that we can assault it. Apparently we're going to get more troops. Okay. Now I'm looking at the lay of the land here. as we go forward. I'm going to bet that the enemy is sitting up on these ridges. So I'm going to hang on. Let's stop here for a second. I'm going to go ahead and send my skirmishers. And these are the small groups of 208 with these little things. They're considered skirmishers, and these with the rifle are considered infantry. So what we're going to do with our skirmishers, because this looks like a trap that is just waiting to be laid coming right through here, I'm going to send some of my skirmishers up here. And we've talked about the organization of army before. So your riflery, these are your main troops for fighting. The skirmishers were used to go out and assault pickets, to do kind of look for enemy. And I see enemy up here, 156 in their set of skirmishers. So if we'd run through here, we'd have gotten absolutely brutalized. Now, over here in the bottom left, we have our soldiers under Schaefer. We have our morales at 95%, covers at 90%, which means they can't see us very well, or actually we can, when we shoot them, we will not have to, we will have more cover for ourselves in the fighting, which is important. So they're going to run, we're going to come this way, make sure there's nobody over here before we go marching down the middle of this valley here. Okay, there looks like they're running, so we're going to continue to advance forward with our skirmishers and see what we can get. Going up here, see if we can engage the next group. I'm not seeing anything over here, so that's a good sign. So they're only on one side. Okay, at this point we can go ahead and start sending our... Oh, no, there is some troops over here. I'm going to go ahead and start sending some of my troops down here. I'm a little worried about this. We've got some cover. I'm going to pivot a little bit. Well, no, let's go ahead and chase them since they went ahead and are continuing to run. Our troops over here struggling a little bit, I think. Wonder if we should have gone up high and fought with our main troops. But anyway. We're going to capture Philippi. That was one of our stories from a previous episode. See if we can come over here. We got good cover. We got good morale. Let's see if we can fight them off. What is going on here? Let's fight these guys. As we continue to talk about our battles, we've moved on to the Battle of Big Bertha. Now, while we continue to... Let's see if we can get these guys in some trouble. I'm going to go ahead and move my troops forward. Maybe we can engage these from two sides. Put them in a little bit of hurt. That's kind of the goal here. Oh yeah, we're going to hit them from the flanking motion. This will pretty much destroy them. Yes, we've routed them. Let's go. Okay, so from over this direction, where our reinforcements are here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and send these guys forward. They're chasing them. I'm going to come over here and bring my troops over to here. And we'll go ahead and bring our officers with us. And we'll see what we got over here. I'm going to go ahead and select these guys. You can kind of box them. And I'm going to come over here and drop them on the outskirts of town, maybe like right here, as we get ready for a battle. We're going to have to come in and take this. We got some troops here, and then we're going to eventually have to get over there and take that side as well. So we got some more skirmishing going on. Now, the Battle of Big Bertha. On April 17th, 1861, Virginia voted 88 to 55 to secede from the Union. Just 5 days after the Battle of Fort Sumter. I mean, this is happening pretty quickly after the Fort Sumter. I mean, this is a struggle that had long been stewing and had come to a very quick boil. Upon succession, Virginia began coordinating with the Confederacy to seize the federal land that they had in their state. And one location in particular, Fort Monroe, was a bit of a problem in this process. Fort Monroe resided on the Virginia Peninsula, and it was a problem because it was held by pro-Union forces from the North who unsurprisingly refused to surrender because they were from northern states. Okay. What do we got up here? We're coming in. We've got a couple. Oh, Major Elmer Stockton has been killed. That is unfortunate for us. Let's go ahead and move ourselves forward. I'm going to come in here and see if we can continue to... We'll go ahead and set these. Let's set some of these camera guys, or these guys up. They should have enough range to start fighting. Okay, we're going to go ahead and sing. No, I don't want... That's my officers. We want the troops to come in. We want these troops to come in. And these troops are going in. We've got the city surrounded. Maybe some good things are going to happen. So we have Virginia now trying to take the land, the Union land. And President Lincoln, immediately after secession, begins to go about finding more troops. And Lincoln himself, he realizes the importance of this peninsula, goes ahead and sends reinforcements pretty much immediately after the secession vote occurred. By April 20th, the fort's strength, I mean, this is 3 days after secession, was bolstered by additional Massachusetts regiment. And then on May 23rd, Major General Benjamin Butler took command of the garrison and began fortifying the camp, which basically surrounded the fort. Why are we not going in and attacking? I'm going to go ahead and set him to here. Sometimes you just have to kind of like... This game's weird. Sometimes it doesn't want you to attack. So if you put them like past it, they're going to come in and get involved in the battle. Okay, we got these guys. Yeah, there's plenty of range for them. You can see the outline of his attack range, so he can hit. They can both hit the city. We're good. This little wagon here is our supply wagon. So if I click on a troop like this troop right here, let's go ahead and stop these guys their march. That'll tell you when they're reloading, when they fired, then their supply. When their supply runs low, the supply truck will help resupply them. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and set these guys to go in. So General Butler, he began fortifying the area, setting up camps surrounding the fort. He moved to take Newport Point in order to assist the blockade. And the fort location was really in an excellent location to take on both Norfolk and other locations south of the Hamptons Road. Okay, so we're like making our way through these troops. Doing a pretty nice job. So I'm going to go ahead and send these guys forward. I'm going to go ahead and send these guys over here so that we can begin volleying. Now I'm going to go ahead and send my skirmishers over with them to give them some protection. As we're going to have to start thinking about assaulting, which means we're going to have to go across this bridge. You know, I might send some troops over this way because of that. This one has my most people. And we'll try to come across this bridge over here with these troops. So I'm going to go ahead and set them up for that motion. And we'll go ahead and set these guys up to come over here and come over here. So hopefully we can come and maybe take this fortification. They got a lot of troops over there. 504 troops. Oof. 429 over here plus... Wow. This is going to be a bit of a challenge. We're going to have to come up here and support, provide guidance for our troops, and hopefully we can win this battle. Now, on the Confederate side, the Virginians, General Lee was the commander of the troops, and he appointed Colonel Magruder to defend the southern part of the peninsula. Colonel Magruder was ordered to push the Union troops back into Fort Magruder and kind of isolate them from being able to participate in the war. So he set up camp in Big Bethel and immediately began fortifying that location. Big Bethel being a little bit north of Fort Monroe. And they sent a small group of cavalrymen to Little Bethel to provide kind of an outpost for the main force to see when the enemy's coming, to be able to attack some of the outlying elements of Butler's troops. And they sent skirmishers, much like my skirmishers here, to go up, basically these light infantry soldiers, to go up and kind of harass the different pickets and the different camps of the Union Army. And, of course, to gather intelligence. I mean, that's kind of the main reason you would do this, is to find out where the enemy is and just kind of harass them in general. The tension between these two sides was obviously on the rise, and something had to give. Before we get to that, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and send some of my skirmishers over here. My supply wagon, come over here. Arm my... Make sure these guys don't run out of cannons. We seem to be winning this battle. Maybe. I mean, they still have quite a few troops. We've generally got them outnumbered. So we're going to have to continue to kind of fight this battle. General Butler of the Union was a man with... Any ambitious man had grand plans. He wanted to move his forces up the peninsula and threaten the Confederate capital of Richmond. He saw Colonel Magruder as his obstacle for his schemes. In addition, Butler began to have concerns about his lines of communication with the North and how they could be cut off if Colonel Magruder got too big of a foothold in the peninsula area. He felt his only option was to attack the Confederates and drive them back away from the peninsula. Butler's plan was pretty straightforward. He believed most of the Confederate forces were camped out at Little Bethel, so he sent a column from Camp Hamilton and a column from Camp Butler. They were going to march through the night, meet up at Little Bethel converge on Little Bethel in the morning, and hopefully surprise the Confederates in an early morning attack. Once they won Little Bethel, they would then move on and take Big Bethel a little bit further north of the... Okay. No, let's not get flanked. Like, the one thing about this game is if you get flanked, you're going to run. So you got to worry about being flanked. So I'm going to turn this way. So they're routing this way. Since they're routing, now we can turn on these guys and we can flank them and probably drive them out. And then once they get driven out, I can then turn my attention to these guys who will probably be coming back here in a couple minutes and fighting me again. I'm going to go ahead and bring these guys over here more if I can. Give us a little bit of cover since they are not in cover. Major Kelly Walton was wounded. That's unfortunate. Okay, now let's engage them from here where we have 100% cover. Let's go. 92% cover, 100%. We got good cover here. They probably have good cover in the city. So this battle is going to take a while, and I've got to worry about the troops coming in from over here. Again. So on the evening of June 9th, 3,500 troops were set off from the Union forces, and during the night, the 7th Regiment from New York came upon the 3rd Regiment from New York. When they... All right, we got this town. Let's go. Let's go see if we can go ahead and drive these guys off. And then we can set up our defenses once we have secured Philippe. Okay. So now we got to keep them from regaining. I like our chances here. So we're going to just go ahead and kind of camp out here. We have regained it. Here come the troops, which I thought would probably eventually show up again. I'm going to go ahead and set up camp right here. Get these guys to set up right there. And I think we're in pretty good shape to defend Felipe, or however you pronounce it. Coming back to our story, we have 2 regiments from New York coming upon each other. And the 3rd Regiment, they saw what they thought they saw was cavalry. And they knew the Union didn't have any cavalry for the battle. which meant that they thought they were the enemy, and they opened up fire. They ended up killing 2, wounding 20 of their own troops, because they weren't Confederates, they were actually Union soldiers. The gunfire sent the various Union regiments into chaos. Some ran back to the main base. Others all came to see if the battle had been engaged with the Confederates. And it took them a while to figure out what was going on and bring order to the situation. The problem for them was the gunfire alerted the Confederates to the Union's approach. That was a bit of a problem. The Southern troops at Little Bethel, they quickly withdrew to the more fortified camp at Big Bethel. And so once the Union finally regained control of their troops, they were able to descend upon Little Bethel and with almost no resistance took it over. They burned down the church so they could no longer serve as an outpost for the Southern forces, and then began to press on to Big Bethel. Uh-oh. Apparently there is going to be a counterattack. Okay. The town is secured. Yay, we secured the town. But the rebels are determined to retake it. Oh, boo. We prepared some entrenchments to stop their assault. And this is much like our Battle of Big Bethel. One side being entrenched and the other side not, having to attack an entrenched side. So this should be interesting to see what happens here. How big their attack is, we will soon find out. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, multiple enemy regiments approach from these roads. So we're going to take on some troops. And there'll be an armored train coming down the rails. And since we don't have weapons, that's going to have cannons, which is going to be a bit of a problem. So we're going to have a great difficulty neutralizing it. Great. Do we have anybody coming to help us? We got reinforcements en route. All right, let's go. Strong artillery batteries. That's going to be helpful, but we got an hour to wait. Eek. We're just going to have to hold out until that hour passes. We do have a couple cannon sections. We have also got ourselves access to... We've also got ourselves access to cavalry. This is a cavalry one. Skirmishers, cannon, infantry, supplies. So that's what these different little badges mean here. And then the number 182, 397. This is the number of troops that are in each one of these little segments here. Let's see, what else do we need to know here? This shows the main commanders. These eyes are used to tell us, give us the ability to see far on the battlefield. These are kind of like lookout spots on the battlefield. And then the American flag here says that we own this space, and we're trying to defend this right here from being taken by the rebels. We have got to be ready to receive orders. Okay. Now we wait for, as we hold Felipe, we wait for the Confederates to attack. As we know from the video on Felipe, this is nothing like the actual Battle of Felipe. But this makes for a really fun and entertaining battling, man. We took a city, now we've got to defend it. And I am going to pull my troops back a little bit into the city so we have coverage. In fact, I'm going to put them here in the middle so that if they try to come into the city, they will be facing our troops. Okay. Back to our Battle of Big Bethel. As chance would have it, Colonel Magruder of the South had also been planning his own assault on the Union positions and was moving troops toward Hampton when they heard the friendly fire incident as well. Those troops hurried back to the fortifications at Big Bethel so that when the Union forces finally arrived at Big Bethel, they found a Confederate force of about 1,400 men, 5 artillery pieces that were entrenched and ready for the Union assault. Much like we're ready for the... Here they go. The Confederate assault. Okay, we got 393 men over here. They've got 484. About 600 coming at us. More rebels are sighted. Uh-oh. Okay, so there's some coming from this side too. Hopefully we'll be able to hold this side. They're charging. Let's get these guys out here and provide some support. I want to put these guys in here. In fact, I'm going to take these troops and we're going to set them right here at this defensive spot. Yeah, those little shields are kind of defensive spots. So we've repulsed their attack. They have a colonel that was wounded in the process. Okay, so we held. That's good. Here comes their cavalry. So I'm going to take my cavalry and I'm going to try to sneak it out around the backside of this battle here. And see if we... Oh, nope, there's troops over there coming. So I'm using my cavalry more to kind of spy the enemy. There are a whole bunch of troops coming. Okay, we got more troops coming. Where are our troops? They're over here. Let's give them a second to come out. And then we'll come up and... Oh my goodness. It's a second group that's coming in to attack. We've got to get in here and fight this. Our troops are back here. I'm going to go ahead and deploy them up here, up front. So they're going to come up front in a nice orderly fashion and be part of the attack. Hopefully we're going to hold over here. Maybe we'll bring some of our cavalry in to help this battle. We're kind of outnumbered. There's one being routed. There's a lot more troops coming. Looks like we might be running. Yeah, we are. That's not good. We're being routed. They're being routed. I think we may hold on. I'm going to go ahead and send these troops up. And we're going to pull these guys back. We're going to pull these guys back. This is not good. You guys have got to run. Our cannons are being routed. We're going to try to hold this spot. We're not going to have much success, I don't think. We're going to need these troops to get here. Now, I can come over here, and I think you can, like, where are my troops here? I can make them run faster, double quick. So I'm going to do that to, like, some of my troops here. And try to get them into the battle quicker. This is going to make them tired. But if we're going to hold on to this, we're going to need to... We might need their help sooner rather than later. So they're running double quick. Like I said, it's making them more tired than this guy's. But I'm going to need them up at the battlefront if we have any hope of winning this. Oh my goodness, my cannons are getting absolutely destroyed. My cavalry. We'll bring the cavalry out, see if we can come maybe we can engage their cavalry. So I'm going to come in here and try to engage their cavalry. Our troops are coming, slowly but surely. My cannon group over here got absolutely decimated, which I tried to move them, it did not work, and so they got decimated. Great. Okay. Interesting. A lot of troops there. Let's get back to our battle of Big Bertha while we wait for our reinforcements to arrive here. Oh my goodness, my condition, my toes are so tired. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop the double quick. We're kind of in the battle here. So that we can maintain their condition. And see if we can get in here and just kind of hold this middle area. I'm going to pull my cavalry back. There's a good chance they may retake the city, but I've got a ton of troops coming. I'm going to go ahead and send them over here. I like our chances long term. Go ahead and take these guys. I'm going to bring them over here. And then they can fire from this side of the river. Give them a little more protection. Okay, so our other troops are coming in. Bring our general. Oh my goodness, they got a ton of people coming over here. Okay, we got to get over to this. I'm gonna go ahead and send them over this way to protect. We're getting pressed pretty hard, there's no doubt about it. So back to our Battle of Big Bertha. The battle began around 9 a.m. The Union basically charged the left side of the Confederate lines. They'd hoped to cross the stream and flank the Confederate forces. The assault, though, was turned back by heavy gunfire. Realizing that the Confederates were pretty entrenched, the Union set up camp on both sides of the Sawyer Swamp Road south of the Confederate forces. But the Unions, they never really organized their attack, and they launched a series of piecemeal attacks at the Southern forces until about 1 p.m., all of which were repulsed by the well-fortified Confederate positions. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and jump up in here, have him jump up in here. Let's see if we can go back and retake some of this. Okay, so our troops are coming back. Loomis, his troops are here. We got to see if we can get in here and retake some of this. Okay. As our battle continues to go well, it doesn't look like they're going to really make an attack on us. I don't know. It'd be really nice if we could take out that train, but I'm not sure how we're going to do that. What kind of range do we have here? Not a ton of range. If they come into the city, at least we'll be able to fight them, fire on them. Interesting. Okay. So around 1 p.m., the Union made one final attempt on the left side. But this time, instead of just sheer force, they tried to use some trickery. They noticed that the Confederates excuse me, tied white strips around their hats to tell them apart from the Union soldiers. Because back then, the uniforms of both sides were not really well defined, and so you had all these piecemeal uniforms from these different regiments and troops. So what the Confederates did was they tied white strings or white strips around their hats to tell them apart. Well, the Union kind of figured this out, and so they tied some white strips to their hats, and they were able to actually make it across the creek by basically acting as Confederates. Once they crossed the creek uncontested, they set out a cheer. That cry was probably a little premature, as the Confederates once again kind of heard it and recognized what had happened and opened up fire. Major Winthrop, who was leading this foray, jumped up on a log and said, "Come on, boys, one charge and the day is ours." Yeah, those were his last words as he was immediately shot through the heart. Rather than rally behind their fallen leader, the Union troops fled back across the creek. Okay, what do we got going on here? This looks like it's been decimated. Looks like we have... I'm going to go ahead and set him up here. We'll go ahead and try to set him into this spot. And I'm going to bring these troops back forward to here. And I'm going to bring these troops forward to here. Okay. I need you all forward. You're pretty tired, though. Okay, we gotta get him involved in the battle. All my troops are exhausted from the forced marching. That's a bummer. We'll just have to take our time. Okay, we're within cannon range, which is good. So the cannon range is here. So all the enemy troops are at least in our cannon range. They're being resupplied. So we're good there. How are these guys doing over here? They're doing okay. So we're holding our own. These guys are now running. This is not good. We've got troops. We can't hold this fortification. We're probably better off just sitting back here in the city area. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to sit here and let them try to push in on us. And sit under the cover of the city. Because right now it seems like we're in pretty good shape. Except, what is going on here? Hey, you all just get involved in this. Okay. This is bad. Okay, they're running off, so we can come over here and reinforce this side of the attack. Okay. I'm feeling better now. We've got more troops. These guys, like, come on, let's get back into the battle. I know your morale's low. I know your condition is absolutely 0. But we gotta hold the town. Looks like we've got a pretty good chance of holding Felipe here. They've got about, what, 600, 700, 8... They got about 1,000 troops. We've got about 1,500, 1,600. Man, we can't hold this position here. So we're just going to sit in here and just sit under cover and just try to fight without trying to hold this shielded spot. Troops over here are doing pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and send my cavalry up the road some over here. See if we can maybe get behind and see what the Confederates have going for us. Okay, come on, troops. Let's stay away from the battle. Maybe we can go up and fight them. Or maybe we can just go around the backside of this battle. Which would be cool too. Are they going to try to... Yes, they're trying to pivot to get to us. We just pretty much... Yeah, you're not going to catch us. We're too fast. Let's come back here. See if their cavalry comes after us. So we come along this backside over here. Whoa. Oh, here's some guns over here. Let's see if we can go get these guns. This is really what we're trying to do with our cavalry. Not only scout them, but like... This is... So we'll come around the back side of them so they can't get a good grad on us. And then we'll go ahead and turn on them and attack. And see if we can take out their cannons. Okay, let's go this way. So now, the other thing you can do is you can kind of... I can take and I can drag around. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and drag the cavalry around the backside. Oh, we got flanked. That rear flanked even worse. Hopefully we get around from them. And we can attack these guys from the back. While our battle down here continues. There we go. We routed them. Nice. Let's go. We're being flanked. As long as we take out the cannons. I'm not super worried we took them out. Let's go take these guys out. We outnumber them. We should be able to just take them out. At this point, coming back to the Battle of Big Bertha, the Union decided to order a general retreat. One Lieutenant John Trent Grable refused to pull back until the last of the troops were through. The problem for him was, by the time everybody left, there was too little to defend and too few men. The Confederates were able to concentrate their fire on the group, killing Grable with a rifle ball to the right temple, as he himself was giving his order for this group's final retreat. The only reason I bring this up is because Grable was the first officer killed in the war, and was an actual graduate of West Point. which makes for an interesting kind of side bit on the day's battle and war. At this point, the Union forces were pretty much routed. The Confederates decided to have the cavalry follow and see if they could re-engage the retreating Union, but they were never able to engage the Union forces before they made it back to the safety of their encampments. Now, the battle itself, as we can see, was a complete loss for the North. It was a disaster from the start, with one mishap after another. The Union had 18 killed in action, 53 wounded, and 5 missing. The South, on the other hand, only suffered 1 killed in action and 7 wounded. The defeated, discouraged Union, they fell back to their fort and really attempted no further advances until the Peninsula Campaign of 1862. So while the Northerners felt shame from this catastrophic defeat, and the press was not very kind to them, the South was buoyed by the win, believing that maybe they could easily defeat the North and could quickly win victory in the war. While the psychological effects of this minor battle were completely outsized at the time, because it was the first land battle of the war. I mean, it really was the first major battle, so to speak, of the war. The thing was there was it was, in the long look thing, it was a very, very minor battle. But at the time, like I said, it was the only battle that they had to write about. And so it kind of had this huge psychological effect that kind of outweighed the actual size of the battle itself, which was, as we will come to see in the coming episodes, definitely a very minor battle. Because at the time, most people, kind of on both sides, thought this would be a relatively quick and painless war. Neither side really had any idea of what was to come. How are we doing in our battle? Have we not defeated these people yet? Come on, let's get in here and defeat these people. Let's come over here and start flanking. You, come up here, flank. You, come back here, let's take them on from behind. Okay. I guess we can go ahead and end this battle now that I look at it. It says we have held Philippi up in the top right corner. I was too busy talking about the Battle of Big Bertha. I did not realize that we had actually won. And now we can finish our first battle. And we have... Victory is ours. We have captured the train station. Yay! We had gone up against Innes MacArthur. We had 4,255 infantry. They had 4,600. We had 224 cavalry to 171. We had 20 to their 8 guns. We had 22,000 casualties. They had 3,000 casualties. Wow. We lost 5 guns. They lost 6. They lost more cavalry than us. And missing is captured. Nobody was captured. So we met our goals, our units. This is actually kind of cool. We can get a battlefield report. Zook had 300 soldiers. They had 546, or they had 651 to start. They ended with 300, so they had 351 losses, but they had 546 kills. This is a group that had great success. Here's a group that did not have good success. Another one that didn't have very good success. This group had good success. They lost 50% of their men, or 50% of their men, but they eliminated 3 times what they lost. Wow. Some of these groups had just huge losses, like this one. Lost 60-70% of its men. Excuse me. But the Confederates had the same types of losses. Like this group right here, they only had 59 kills and 411 lost. 324 to 51. Wow. We had one ourselves, Bruce. They got half their men were lost in battle, and they only got 50. Ouch. A very costly battle, but that's the way it goes. We had Louis Wagner wounded. That's a bummer, but he'll come back eventually. And then we were able to rescue some better weapons that we can now use. Nice. Good deal. And that brings us to the end of our first battle. We have now won ourselves the Civil War Campaign Medal. Outstanding. And we, having won the battle, we get 71,600 and 4,300 reputation. So this is where politics becomes important, because politics increases this number and this number. This is the amount we can spend. This is the number of troops we can now recruit. Our reputation went up and we got a career point, which is exciting, because now if I come to career, which is highlighted in blue here, I got a career point. I can do something with my career point. I can increase my army organization. This increases the size of our army, because right now we're actually kind of small. We only have one corps. Our maximum brigade size is 1,500. We only have 3 brigades. 1,500 is the maximum size of our forces, and we can only have 2 divisions. So we can be fairly small, which early in the game we don't need to be bigger, but we are going to have to start thinking about expanding the size of our army as we go. We're definitely going to need more than 1 corps. Our income's 7.5%. Our recruiting's at 7.5%. This is what politics does. So if I get better income. Economy is, so if I come back here, economy is our discount on goods. Medicine is our healing time, unit restores faster. Training is our cost for veterans, which can be valuable, because as you go on, you want to replace your troops with veterans rather than the newbies. Army organization, see, we went from 3 brigades to 4 brigades. And logistics, 10% more ammo we carry with us. And reconnaissance gives us more information, because right now we don't really have any information about the enemy, like their number of troops they have or anything like that. If we can increase our reconnaissance, we know a little bit more about the enemy. From a practical standpoint, I mean, if I were like in a war, I would want to know more of this. But from a game standpoint, this isn't nearly as important as getting more troops. So we're going to apply it to politics for now. We can come to our barracks. Okay, these are our officers we have available to us. As you can see, he's wounded. Eventually he'll be better again. We have a major who's ready to come serve. We got some captains, some colonels, and I even got a brigadier general I can potentially hire for money. In the armory, we have the troops. We can find out like all the different weapons that are available to us for our infantry, whatever, and see what we have in our armory. This is what we have, 1,700 in stock. These are what are available, and this is the actual cost. So if we want to buy weapons, like if we want to buy guns for our cavalry, we have 281 of these in stock. But if we want to buy so we got 5 cannons, but if we want to buy more additional cannons, this is how many are available and how much they're going to cost us. Okay, now we come back to our army. We see we have 2 divisions available to us. We have 3 groups in each one. So if I want to come in here, this tells me I don't have an officer. So what I want to do is assign an officer. I'm going to go ahead and assign a colonel to be head of my division, and then I'm going to come in here and create a 2nd division for 3,000. One of the things we want to do is add supplies. This is going to cost us money. We'll go ahead and set that to 10,000 for now to give us some supplies. We got troops. Okay, so this is our infantry. Notice the infantry one. We have 202. I'm not going to get veterans at this point, so I'm going to try to go ahead and see if we can get some troops. Now this tells us what level they are. And if I continue to add troops, I will lose this ability we have. And this ability is endurance. We have more endurance. If I want to use, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this all the way up until this bar gets close to 0 and apply that. Now, if I want, I can use veterans to kind of fill in. But veterans are going to cost me. See my upgrade cost as I add troops. So I'm going to take this up to maybe 500 soldiers. This one is also one that is, it needs a major. Let's go ahead and bring him in to lead us. And I'm going to go ahead and bring rookies in, bring him down as far as I can. And then we'll use veterans to get us up to about 500. Okay. We've got 3 guns. We got 1 more in our armory. We got more in the shop. So I'm going to go ahead and use veterans for these. I can bring a 4th one in. 4th gun, very little cost. 5th gun is starting to get more expensive. I don't want to spend more than 10,000, so we're going to go ahead and get this up to 6 guns.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got our 2nd division. We got 3, so I'm going to go ahead and set up a infantry brigade with 1,000 troops. We've got Springfield M1A42s, so I can just go ahead and create this relatively cheaply. And that gives me 1,000 men. I'm going to go ahead and do another infantry. Okay, this is going to cost me a little bit more since I don't have enough weapons in hand. I'm going to have to buy them from the shop. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We got 28,000. Okay, I have the ability. One other thing I can do with my reputations, come up here and do. I got 28 reputations. I can, I guess, get a general, get more ordnance, get more weapons, use my reputation for those. Right now, I'm not going to worry about that. I've got some money. I got troops. So what I'm going to do is we don't have a cavalry. I'm going to go ahead and set up a cavalry. We're going to go... See, I can have them just shoot. Or if I want them to be able to fight melee, I can get ones with swords. So I'm going to go ahead and get the one with sword so we can melee. This is going to cost us a lot of money. But it's going to give me 250, 13,000. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now we've got some more money. We got some more troops. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some more veterans. What other weapons do we have? Springfields. Okay, I'm going to have to replace... I don't have enough. I could buy Lorenzas. That's going to use up all my money. So we'll go ahead and see if we can spend maybe 5,000. How much will that give me? Another 200 troops. That gets us 700. We'll go with that. See if we can just spend another 5,000 here. See if we can get up to about 700 troops in this one. Apply. So we have 953 troops we can recruit and $5,000. The next part of this is our battle map. Here we have correspondence. Following the battle of capture the train station, the enemy is threatening us more than ever. But his army is also exhausted. I believe it's time now to strike him down with all our force. General Pedro Colquet. And then a captured message. At the battle of capture the train station, the Yankees have become stronger in your area. 9,100 fresh recruits will be allocated to your army in the next days, which is what we got. So from here, we have multiple battles that we can actually engage in. A distress call or the first battle of Bull Run. It's at this point that I'm going to go ahead and end this first episode. We've gone along quite a bit ways. But I wanted to go ahead and show you kind of the game. We talked about the Battle of Big Bertha. Show you the basics of this game, the elements of this game. When we come back, we're going to get involved in some more battles, and we're going to tell some more stories from the Civil War while we fight these battles. For this, if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more content on the Civil War, I'm also doing American history in my Fortnite Tales series. If you want to know more about history, especially American history, this is your channel for you. So go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell. You'll be notified. I'm trying to release content once every week, so it's good to know when it comes out. I'm not releasing all the time, but I am releasing on a regular basis. And as always, have a great day if you want to.